Patti, two recently retired CEOs adjusting to our next stage in life. While we're quarantining away from the world, we've been converting a cargo van into a tiny home on wheels.
Hey, welcome back to the van. After 3 months on the road, we decided to give you an update on our build. We had originally decided to use 80-20. If you recall, we actually did this about a year ago, and we wanted to wait for the 2020 to come in. And so we had some time, started building the subunits in our garage, and then the theory being when the van showed up, we could slide the subunits in and finish out the build. Well, we did that, but we got tired of waiting for the 2020 Ford. Our previous vlog will tell you that story, but we essentially got this 2018 used Ford Transit in, so slid the subsets in and continued to finish the build. So it worked great. First decision you had to make with the 80-20, and this might be a pretty boring video for most of you, unless you happen to be deciding whether to use 80-20 or not, then this might be valuable. But most van builders use this Series 15-15, and the way it's measures 15-15, meaning 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So that's Series 15-15. A great resource for that is Our Caravan. Did a phenomenal job on 80-20 in his van. Check that out. But you can use some smaller sizes too, perhaps. And this is the Series 10-10, meaning 1 inch by 1 inch, and quite a bit lighter and smaller than the 15-15. And then yet there's a third you can decide to use, and this is the Series 20. Now 80-20, the way they work, that's a metric size now. Series 20 is actually 20 millimeters, which is almost exactly 3/4 of an inch. So you can see the size difference. And in fact, the 3/4 inch versus the 1.5 inch, you can see it's half the size, 3/4 versus 1.5, but it's 1/4 of the cross-sectional area. When you buy these things, you're pretty much buying it by the weight of aluminum. They all take the same amount of manufacturing. It's just the weight of aluminum. And so this will cost you about $6.30 a foot. That doesn't include cutting or any specialization, and also shipping's extra. Shipping can add up quite a bit. This one cost about $1.90 a foot. So much more cost effective. This is also 4.5 times heavier than this. So if weight's an issue, then you might want to consider the two options. So what did we do? We used the 15-15, the 1.5, I'll just leave it at that, the 1.5 inch for our bed along the back of the van, because we wanted a clear span. We didn't want intermediate supports, so we wanted the heavy duty. That worked great. And in fact, let me show you this. I'll lift up the blanket here in the bed. You can kind of see right along the edge here the 80-20, the 1.5 inch, and then we have slats in it from IKEA to support the bed, and right underneath that is the garage where we keep our 2 Elliptigo bicycles. And so, like I said, that worked great, and very substantial. No squeaking, no moving. After 3 months of use, I had no issues with that. I had no issues really with any of it. So we used the 1.5 inch for the bed. For the other bed behind me, we used the 1 inch. And the reason we did that was because we knew we had intermediate supports, so we didn't have long spans. We wanted to save the weight and frankly the cost. And so the 1 inch went in really well. Another thing you have to decide when you purchase this stuff is they come with different finishes. First off, there's, if you can see this, smooth finish versus one with these little grooves in them. And the reason they put the grooves in them, I understand, is to provide friction. So like, here's a bracket from 80-20 or competitor, and when you bolt it in, the grooves provide a little extra friction so it doesn't wiggle around. Smooth, others say that looks really nice, and they like that. Another thing you have to decide is how many slots you want. Typically it's 4 slots, but you can get 2 or 3 slots or even 1 slot. So this one has 3 slots, so you can see slot, 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 but the other face is just smooth aluminum. And so you have to decide how, you have to really think ahead in this before you order. For instance, over here on our second bed, you can see we have the bed itself, the bed frame itself is the 1-inch 80/20, and it's got the smooth, so it's a 3-slot aluminum. You can also get, and you can see it here, this curved edge. And so we've got this curved edge, and I wanted that because this drops down, and wanted the curved edge, and kind of seeing the edge here. I have to still finish that, but less painful if you bump into it. And this one has the 2-face, so it's 2 slot and 2 faces. And this one has the 1 face, and it's got slots on either side, and this is whiteboard that just slides down into it. And so those are your options. So lots of options. You also have an option of getting lightweight, or I don't know what they call it, extreme lightweight pieces in some of the sizes. And for instance, this is the standard weight aluminum, and you can see the hole in the middle, and there's just a beefy aluminum around the hole, and there's no holes in the, well, there are holes in the corner, but you can see this one has bigger holes and has a bigger hole in the middle, and so they reduce some of the weight of the aluminum, and you get some of the savings. In fact, this is 53 cents an inch. This is like 39 cents an inch because it's a lot less aluminum. And I would recommend for most of what you're doing in a van that go with the lightest weight you can. You save some money on that. I can't imagine you need the extra beefiness of the full size, full weight aluminum. Another benefit of the size 15 is you use these 5/16 lag bolts. It's just a standard bolt, and you can kind of see it fits right in there, and it doesn't spin. And then you can kind of fabricate your own joints. In this case, a piece of aluminum that was cut to size, and you can kind of drop it down on here, drill a hole in it, put the bolt in, put a nut on it, and make your own fittings, because the fittings from 80/20 really can add up. They're very expensive. There's not a similar thing for the 1-inch or the 3/4 inch, where you can get a cheap, a knockoff connector. But the connectors are much cheaper, though, on the smaller sizes. In fact, some of the connectors, like this is one, and other manufacturers make it, but in addition to 80/20, but here's a bracket, like a corner bracket, that actually fits both a 1-inch and also a 3/4 inch size, so you can use one bracket for both. But this definitely wouldn't fit the 1.5 size. There's just too much looseness there. So those are other decisions you have to make. So we used the 1-inch here, works great, no wiggling, no noise. We used the 1.5 back in the big bed, and on the galley, the kitchen galley here, we used these size 20, the 3/4 inch, and I can show you that here. Let me swing the camera around. And it's not done yet. I got to put a panel in here, but you can kind of see the 80/20, the 3/4 inch holding the fridge, framing out the fridge, and there's our Vitrifrigo fridge and our 2-burner cooktop, and you can kind of see the 80/20. So here you can see I did a piece with 2 smooth faces, and then here a groove because I thought I was going to need that to put the hinge in. And same thing back here, wasn't sure how we were going to finish that, but it's mostly covered, so no big deal. And then the cooktop drops right down. I've got some angle aluminum holding it in place. You can kind of see how I fabricated that, so nothing catches fire, hopefully. So that worked great. And to give you I did a quick analysis. This galley here, which is the fridge, the stove, the sink, would have cost $350 with the 1.5-inch aluminum. It cost $192 with the 3/4 inch. So quite a bit of savings. concludes our update. If I had to do it again, the one challenge with picking 3 different sizes to do your build is you have 3 different connectors. And also, you say you have to have 3 different wrench sizes. You have to have a little inventory of nuts and bolts that fit each size, and that's been a hassle. But on the other hand, if I went with the 1.5 all the way through, obviously it would have cost a lot more money. And, inch and a half, it kind of adds up. So my 24-inch aisle here might now be 21 or 22 inches because I've got much beefier subsystems here. So all that enters into it. So I don't have a yes-no answer on which size to use. You'll have to figure that out yourself. Thanks a lot.